So hello everyone, in this audio class we will discuss the 20 most important questions that can be asked in the geography postgraduate level interview for KVS and NVS teacher recruitment from the chapter 6 Geomorphic Process from the book NCERT Fundamentals of Physical Geography. So let's get started with the question number 1. How would you define geomorphic processes to a student? So, geomorphic processes are the physical and chemical actions that lead to changes in the configuration of the Earth's surface. These are driven by internal forces and external forces. For example, an earthquake raising a landmass, that is endogenic, followed by a rain wearing it down, that is exogenic. So next question number 2, what is the fundamental difference between geomorphic agents and processes? So a process is the mechanism like weathering or erosion, while an agent is the mobile medium like running water, glaciers or wind that applies force. For example, moving water is the agent, but the process it performs is erosion or transportation. Question number 3, why is Earth's surface uneven despite continuous exogenic leveling? So the Earth is dynamic, while exogenic forces work towards gradation or leveling down. Endogenic forces continuously create new crust or uplift land. For example, the Himalayas are being eroded daily, but the tectonic plates are still pushing them upward. Question number 4, can we explain the concept of diastrophism in simple terms? So, diastrophism includes all processes that move, elevate or build up portions of the earth crust, such as orogenic or mountain building and epirogenic, that is continental building. So for example, the formation of Alps due to folding of the crust. Question number 5, how does exogenic force derive its energy? So exogenic processes derive their energy from the sun or thermal energy and gravity. The sun creates temperature gradients and drives the water cycle. For example, sun driven evaporation leads to rain, which gravity then pulls downslope to erode soil. Question number 6, what is denudation in the context of NCERT? So denudation literally means to strip bare. It is a general term that includes weathering, mass wasting, movement and erosion. For example, a bare mountain peak exposed after its topsoil has been washed away over centuries. Question number 7, distinguish between weathering and erosion. So weathering is an in situ or static process where rocks break down without being moved. Erosion is a dynamic process involving the transportation of debris. For example, a rock cracking due to frost is weathering, and the wind blowing those particles away is erosion. Question number 8, how does chemical weathering alter rock stability? So chemical weathering involves decomposition via hydration, oxidation or solution. It weakens the molecular structure of minerals. For example, rusting of iron-rich rocks or oxidation, or a limestone dissolving in rainwater or carbonation. Question number 9, why is weathering considered a prerequisite for mass wasting? So weathering weakens the rocks and create loose debris or regolith. Without this weakening, gravity alone cannot easily move solid bedrock. For example, a landslide usually happens where the soil or rock was already weathered and loose. Question number 10. What triggers mass movement specifically? So gravity is the direct force, but triggers include saturation by water, removal of support from below, or heavy loads on slopes. For example, construction at the base of a hill or removal of support causing a debris flow during rain. Question number 11. How do you differentiate between slump and debris slide? So, in a slump, the movement is rotational with the backward tilt. In a debris slide, the mass moves rapidly along a linear plane. For example, soil slipping down a curved road cut is a slump. A sudden rock fall on a highway is a slide. Question number 12. Define soil creep and its visible indicators. So, creep is an extremely slow, continuous movement of soil down a slope. For example, you can identify it by looking at tilted telephone poles or trees with pistol butt carved trunks on a hillside. Question number 13. What is the significance of weathering mantle? So, weathering mantle is the layer of loose weathered material sitting over bedrock. It is crucial for soil formation and biodiversity. For example, the thick fertile soil in tropical regions is a result of a deep weathering mantle. Question number 14. Explain the role of biological weathering. So, it is the contribution of living organisms like plants, burrowing animals, humans to rock breakdown. For example, plant roots growing into cracks and acting as wedges to split rocks apart. Question number 15. How does hydration differ from solution? So, in solution, minerals dissolve completely in water like salt. In hydration, minerals chemically absorb water and expand. For example, calcium sulfate turning into gypsum through hydration. Question number 16. Why is physical weathering more dominant in arid regions? So, due to extreme diurnal temperature ranges, rocks expand and contract rapidly, leading to mechanical failure. For example, exfoliation or onion peeling seen in desert granite boulders. Question number 17. What is the geomorphic work of a glacier? So, glaciers erode by plucking and abrasion, carving out U-shaped valleys. For example, the rugged, jagged peaks of high Sierras of the Alps. Question number 18. Define pedogenesis. So, pedogenesis is the process of soil formation. It depends on parent material, climate, biological activity and time. For example, over thousands of years, volcanic ash weathers into fertile black soil. Question number 19. Why is time considered a passive factor in soil formation? So, time doesn't act on the soil but allows other processes like weathering to mature. For example, a mature soil has well developed horizons or layer because it has had enough time to develop. Question number 20, and this is the last question for today. Is erosion a leveling process or a creative one? So, erosion is the both. It levels the highlands, that is called degradation, and creates landforms through deposition. that is called aggradation. For example, a river erodes a canyon or leveling but creates fertile delta also, that is called the aggradation or creative features. So this is for today. Thanks for listening. Keep listening for the further audio classes.